네, 안녕하세요. 오늘은 제가 누가 내 치즈를 옮겼을까에 대한 최근에 원서를 제 친구와 함께 읽고 이것에 대한 이야기를 나눴었는데요. 우선 이 책은 초보 원서자분들이 접하기에 굉장히 쉽고 단어 수준이 되게 평이합니다. 그래서 당장 외우면 사용할 수 있을 만한 말들로도 구성이 잘 되어 있어서 이 책을 조금 추천드리고요. 만약에 영어 원서를 처음 접하시는 분들이다 그럼 이 책을 바로 읽으시는 걸 또 추천드려요. 왜냐면 100페이지 이하인데 우화인데도 불구하고 우화인데 되게 내용 자체도 너무 감명 깊고 또 어떻게 보면 굉장히 자기계발서라고 할 수 있거든요. 일단 여기에는 스니프와 스컬이 그 다음에 햄과 허가 이제 주인공으로 등장하게 됩니다. 생쥐 두 마리와 그 다음에 사람 두 명이 이렇게 나오게 되는데요. 우선 그 생쥐들 자체는 치즈가 다 떨어지기 직전에 새로운 것들을 항상 찾고 치즈 상태를 항상 확인하는 역할을 하게 됩니다. 하지만 여기 나와 있는 두 꼬마 소년들은 그런 변화에 대해서 전혀 반응을 하지 않고 항상 그냥 안정적인 것만 찾게 되는데요. 근데 이 햄과 허가 나중에 그 치즈가 다 떨어지는 상황에 놓이게 돼요. 그래서 그랬을 때 도대체 어떻게 해야 될지 당황을 하게 되는데 결국 햄이라는 친구는 새로운 치즈를 찾는 것을 거부하게 되고 허라는 친구는 새로운 치즈를 찾아서 떠나게 됩니다. 여기서 이제 나중에 밝혀지게 된 거는 주인공 허 같은 경우는 이제 변화 수용에 있어서 가장 큰 방해물이 자신의 마음속에 있고 또 자신이 먼저 변하지 않으면 다른 것도 변하지 않는다라는 점을 인지를 하면서 새로운 치즈 창고를 찾으면서 이야기는 끝이 나게 되는데요. 제가 친구와 짧게 이야기한 부분을 같이 공유 드리도록 하겠습니다.
Puts you in like an outsider perspective
Mm-hmm.
and you realize like how frustrating some of your actions can be when you're reading about it happening to someone else. What was his name? The guy that
Hugh and her, and I think there are four, right? But I cannot remember. Like the two people, Hugh and Hugh.
yeah. Like human whore, I guess. I think,
Oh, right.
yeah. Yeah, and he was obviously like quite stubborn and like reluctant to change. And it's like when you're reading about that, like I said, from like an outsider perspective, you realize like how stupid you seem. But because it's supposed to be for like, I was like doing some research on it, and the book was kind of written for like businesses and people to use like for their work life and in their jobs as like motivation. So you realize like if you're reluctant to like change something at work, how kind of ridiculous it is. But I guess I like how it kind of promoted like positive attitudes and like the overall message of like, I put like overcoming fear. There was a quote that said, let me find it. What would you do if you weren't afraid?
Right.
Which is like,
I think everyone has afraid of like something new because sometimes like people just want to change a lot, but they behave differently, you know? And also it's quite hard like to match the words and action.
Yeah.
But when we regret is that we didn't do something, and also someone did something that we want, and then someone changed it, and that's when we regret we didn't do.
Yeah. And like change is like, I guess change is scary, and it's so easy to like remain comfortable in your situation. But I guess it's kind of like saying if you don't change and put yourself out there, you don't ever have like any new experiences, I think you don't like develop as a person. I think it's important to like, it made me think like you need to always like be changing something in your life to kind of like move forward in your mindsets.
Right, true. I think it seems like at first it's a kind of like the teacher story, you know? I don't even know about that, you know?
Here we are, like oh, so deep, meaningful. It's about
Right.
cheese, like really.
Mhm. But like over and over, I realized that it's a real self-help book,
Mm,
like covered with the story with the cheese. And also, I finished this book. I thought about like the meaning of the cheese. I think it's very symbolic thing. I thought to
mm,
myself. So everyone has their own cheese, but it's different. Everyone. Someone just want to pursue their like financial thing, and someone just want to pursue like happiness thing,
mm,
like satisfied thing. It depends on all other. So those are kind of like the story that makes me quite interested because um, even though like we have different goals, but the first thing that we have to do is the same. Like try to accept the change.
mm. I liked as well how like they described the cheese as like it was going old, but
Mm-hmm.
they were still like eating it,
Mm-hmm.
and how like in your life, I guess in your life, that I can't remember where the quote comes from, but there's a quote that says like everything you love has claw marks in it
Oh.
because you're always trying to like hold on to it
Mm-hmm.
so much that like you're hurting yourself and like
Mm-hmm.
damaging yourself by like
Mm-hmm.
forcing it to like stay no matter what it
Mm-hmm.
is. But
Mm-hmm.
you just need to like let it go and move on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, when I was reading, whenever they mention like the cheese going old, but they were still eating it, it really reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.